Dapewa and Team Studio 2, thank you so much for holding the fort there at the headquarters. Top of the morning to you, Namibia. My name is Denver Kisting. It's such an incredible pleasure. It's a huge delight. It's an immense honor to be in your company on this gift of a Thursday. That is the 5th day of September 2024. We are coming to you live from the Global African Hydrogen Summit, the inaugural edition of the summit, and Namibia is playing host to this prestigious global event. Now, around 1,000 global leaders and industry players convened for the summit. The potential within the green hydrogen industry, as well as the challenges of infrastructure and capital investment, were some of the key focal areas during yesterday's deliberations of the summit. Now, the Netherlands, that's the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and Namibia share long-standing bilateral relations founded indeed on mutual respect, a shared commitment to global peace as well as sustainable development. The most recent example of the substantial economic ties that exist between the two countries is growth throughout green hydrogen that we have been witnessing. Now, joining me in our studio this morning to reflect on the bilateral ties as well as their presence here at the Global African Hydrogen Summit, that is Madame Janneke Vrijland. She's the Deputy Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, based in Pretoria, neighboring South Africa, as well as Madame Nienke Homan, Chief Executive Officer of Impact Hydrogen. Goedemorgen, ladies.
Goedemorgen.
Yeah. Welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Well, it's so good to be here.
And welcome to the land of the brave.
Yeah. With a warm heart.
Absolutely, yeah. How are you doing, Madame Vrijland?
Very well. I'm very excited to be here. A large group of Dutch interested people, so it's a blast. Yeah.
Yes, and Madame Homan, are you well too?
Oh wow, it's wonderful. We had such a wonderful days already, and well, still up and running here, so it's going to be a lovely day again, I think.
Indeed, you're speaking it into existence already.
Yes.
Yeah, Madame Vrijland, what are your impressions thus far of the global summit?
This far we are very impressed, not only by all the presence of the honourable ministers, the former First Lady, the NIPDB. I think everybody's doing a great job. It was also something that we've been anticipating. We were very keen to come over here with an economic mission, and this was the perfect occasion. So far, before the conference started, we also, with a big delegation, visited some of the sites, not near Windhoek, but around in Namibia, sites where hydrogen is already being piloted. So very exciting to be here, and it's a fantastic conference.
Great. What are your impressions thus far, Madame?
Well, actually, I've been here sometimes before, and I think things are moving so quick. And I think this is what happens when you say, well, this is our goal. Let's do it together. Let's focus, well, the money, the efforts, policy. Let's all focus it on being and coming to net zero and being hydrogen part of it. So, yeah, I see a lot of change already in a year. So, very positive.
What is it that stands out from what you say you're witnessing in a year already?
Well, I think for a transition, because actually hydrogen is part of the energy transition, really a transition of the energy system. And it's very important for people to see this is happening. So it's, yeah, of course, policy is very important, but yeah, seeing is believing. And now we can really see stuff. So we visited clean energy, we visited high iron. Well, they already have a solar farm, they have installations already there. And I think this is very important because a transition is very fake. And if you see things happening, well, this is what we need. And people really start believing it and understanding it. And you can explain what hydrogen is because you can show it. So that's important. So that's actually the moment that I think now we're really getting there.
Thank you. Madame Vrijland, our version to our viewers in the introduction was that the Kingdom of the Netherlands and the Republic of Namibia enjoy sound bilateral relations. Let's substantiate that version. What does the relationship look like?
I think sound bilateral relations is a very good description. We go way back as countries. We have a very solid relation. We're very like-minded on a lot of global issues. We are keen to work together everywhere. But now recently, more recently, I think it all started when the late President Geingob invited our Prime Minister Rutte back then to visit Namibia and see what's going on in green hydrogen. They got along very well immediately. We made that happen only last year, a year ago. So an MOU was signed by both governments that was basically underlining our joint ambition to make this green hydrogen happen. with the involvement of Dutch state-owned enterprises, companies, investments and so on, but of course with the lead of Namibia. Yeah, we also had some high-level visits after that to Rotterdam. We were very happy to welcome President Mumba at the Green Hydrogen Summit over there. He has met the King, and they've both underlined and prioritized green hydrogen as the key item in our bilateral relation.
Thank you for that overview. Madam Homan, you've touched on our transition and the progress that you are witnessing in Namibia. What does the picture look like back in the Netherlands?
Yeah, we had actually, it started a couple of years ago. So we had the Paris Climate Deal, so the International Climate Deal in 2015, and we had a National Climate Deal in 2019. And this was actually the moment that we said, well, we're going to do it, we're going to net zero in 2050 and a 55% reduction in 2030. So, and the moment that we decided this is the way to go, we organized, well, different sector tables, like industry or agriculture or the infrastructure, and said, well, we're going to organize it per table, per make a roadmap, a plan for every year, and that worked so well. It gave us actually a new perspective. Creating a new perspective per sector, make a plan and organize it. So, and this was really like a new boost to the economy and a new perspective for the regions. And I think this is what you need. So it is actually an integral system. Hydrogen is needed to have hydrogen produced, you need the infrastructure for the distribution, and you need the usage. And this is something that you really have to coordinate. And that's actually new, because, well, the natural gas and oil, it grew like the last 60, 17 years. And now we have to make a change all over the world quite quick. And hydrogen is part of that system, but it's not going to happen by itself, because we are in a hurry, because of climate goals. So you really have to organize it. So you have to organize human capacity, the capacity building. You have to start with new frameworks, policy frameworks.
While being in a hurry.
While being in a hurry.
Yeah.
So this is what we did, and it really made a change. So let's now focus on what do we have to do, what is my role in this transition, and how can we do this together.
Very well. Madam Vrijland, talk to us about how your green hydrogen activities, against the backdrop of what we just heard, apply to Namibia.
Well, as the foreign delegation, so as an embassy, of course, we are the eyes and ears on the continent. We've been actually driven by the energy transition in the Netherlands as well. In the Netherlands, a lot of people are looking at where are we going to get the hydrogen from in the future that's needed for that energy transition. And looking at the world, of course, Namibia and South Africa have a very unique climate position. So it was only natural for the embassy to get engaged and step up their efforts in the activities. So what we've been doing so far is, of course, get the companies over here, because the companies need to see what's happening on the ground, exactly like Nienke has been explaining. What's happening, be inspired, get a good network, be there early on. But what we also do is to make sure that we have a responsible business conduct. We commission studies, for example, that we've been talking a lot these days about the nexus between water and hydrogen. So we have a study ongoing there. We also have a study on the skills needs, not only on the skills needs, because of course many people are researching that, and of course the Namibian institutes as well, but also on the niche of the Netherlands. So of the whole skills need, where can the Netherlands step in, where can the Dutch companies play an important role? Yeah, so there's several studies ongoing, and that's where we hope to see and make sure that together with the Namibian hydrogen program, make a good impact in this transition.
Thank you very much. Ladies, as we're starting to wrap up our conversation, just very briefly, Madam Homan, you'll be participating in a discussion today on that very nexus between water and hydrogen.
Yeah.
Could you just very briefly touch on it without preempting your conversation, of course?
Yes, so actually we call it impact by design. So you have to think of all the elements that are needed to produce hydrogen and to use it. And of course there is no green hydrogen without water. So a lot of people think of the production facilities and solar farms and wind farms, but we do need hydrogen. And you can, water. So you can...
Hydrogen too.
Hydrogen too, but first
well.
water. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, first electricity and water makes hydrogen. So you can look at the water situation as mitigating risks. Don't use too much, do it in a good way, use it in a good, efficient way. But you can also look at water saying by how can we actually make people benefit from the situation that you have to desalinate water or you have to pump water and use it also for other purposes. So that's another way of thinking. And not only mitigate risks, but how can we contribute to sustainable development goals with hydrogen.
So it sounds like disruptive thinking, but it's necessary.
Yeah, no, it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think that is what we need.
Disruptive thinking.
Yes.
Yeah. Madam Vrijland, in conclusion, talk to us about the delegation accompanying you and the mission. What is it all about?
I'm very happy to talk about it actually, because we were, after many visits, Nienke can attest to that, we've had many companies visit, state-owned enterprises visiting Namibia over the last 2, 3, 4 years. But this week provides an opportunity to bring a larger group of Dutch companies. So we have companies who are invested in solar, in infrastructure, in transport, in gas pipelines, in innovations. And they're all very keen to learn more about Namibia. We had this fantastic session with Namibia in the hotspot on Namibia, what was it? So they're doing great networking. We have a company who is arranging lots of matches for them, so they're meeting with their Namibian counterparts. And of course, some of it is very early on. The hydrogen is not yet there, but this is the time where these connections need to be made. So we have a big Dutch stand there, and I'm sure all the companies will be very happy to speak with you also and share their stories. But it's an exciting moment. Of course, it's just a step on a long road, and we are there.
I've got an undiplomatic question. Well, let me be fair. Let me make an undiplomatic statement. Windhoek is so much nicer than Pretoria.
Is it? You want me to reflect on that?
You know, you need not, yeah. Dank you wel, ladies. Thank you for
you.
your time. Thank you for sharing your expertise, and thank you for your commitment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure.
The pleasure is ours. There you have it, Madam Janneke Vrijland. She's the Deputy Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands based in Pretoria in neighbouring South Africa, as well as Madam Nienke Homan, Chief Executive Officer of Impact Hydrogen. We'll take a short break, and thereafter we'll cross back to Dapewa and Team Studio 2 for an engagement on that end.
Luderitz has predominantly been a fishing and mining town, and with all this new industries that's on its way, we keep referring to it as the third revolution.
NIPDB, and this is something that I discuss with my people all the time, our vision is attached to the Namibian vision. And I told them that we are here to promote our product. And if we are a marketing agency, if one can put it that way, our product is Namibia.